2, and English diction at teacher training colleges and translation programs. She is a founding member of BA English House, where she has designed a special fellowship in EFL education offered to college students from UK universities. In association with universities and teacher education institutions, she has organized webinars, conferences, and study groups that promote continuing professional development. As an international consultant, she has widely reviewed published materials produced in her field. Her books include Thumpy, Thumpy in Spain, and The Jawbreaker and the Sound Ticklers. She also runs the Teacher Training Resource Hub for EFL World of Phonics, storybooks, and resources at www.eflphonics.com.ar. Okay, thank you, Stella, once again for joining us today.
Okay, people, before we start, I want to tell you that, Stella, if you have any question, feel free to drop your question or comment on the chat box. Stella will answer all the questions at the very end of the presentation. Valeria will collect all your questions and doubts and comments. And at the very end, we are going to share and discuss all together. Apart from that, try to stay because we have so many prizes for you at the very end of the presentation. So stay here, because there will be some raffles for you. Okay, a recorded version, yes, will be available. So if you want the recorded version of the webinar, please send an email. Yes, now I will share in the chat box the emails where you can contact us. And well, we are going to share the recording, right? Well, I wish you all a very successful webinar. Stella, you can start.
Okay, thank you very much, Maria. Maria Eugenia, CIEDA, and all your members are very kind and very happy to be here with you this afternoon. Before I start, I would like to remind you that you will need some handouts I have already prepared. Maria Eugenia is going to send the handouts, I don't know if on the chat box or via email. And you will need that material to do some activities afterwards. Well, today we have a very interesting topic, phonics. All right, phonics. So popular, isn't it? Everybody is very anxious to get to know about phonics, I believe. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to deal with this, phonics and the 4 skills, and phonics at all levels, because phonics is sometimes very much associated to children. It is for children, but it's also for adults, adolescents, and for all, yes, for all students of English, learners of English, because it facilitates the learning a lot. If we ask, for example, students what areas of pronunciation or what areas of learning English they matter the most, they will probably say pronunciation. And if you ask the teachers, you get the same response. The thing is that when we look carefully into the classroom, we'll discover too often that pronunciation is usually done on an ad hoc basis, not planned. It's not prepared. It's not done in the same way we do systematically grammar or vocabulary. But if it is so important, where is it in the lesson plan? Right? Why do we neglect this part of phonology? Now we are going to address this issue today. If you take a look at the agenda, we are going to look into phonetics and how phonetics impact, the lack of phonetic, the negative impact on reading, writing, listening, and speaking if we do not deal with pronunciation in the way we should in the lesson plan. After that, we are going to work on phonology for children. I'm going to share with you a personal approach to EFL World of Phonics that has to do with the phonics that we really need, Spanish speakers, not the phonics that comes from England. And finally, I'm going to raffle 10 books to the first 10 participants that sent a feedback to my email address. I want to know how much you learned from this session. All right? Well, let's begin. As we said before, if we ask students what do they want to learn, they usually say pronunciation. This is what matters us the most. But if you ask them what they really do, I mean, what they like to do or what they are more skillful as, they would say, well, written practice. So what happens with the oral counterpart? We teach all the skills in the same way, but students say that they are still better at writing. Can we blame students for this? Of course not. Can we help them? Yes, but how? I mean, we are neglecting an important part, so we need to integrate the 4 skills, I mean, pronunciation to the 4 skills as we do with grammar and vocabulary. Pronunciation needs its own place in the lesson as well. So we are going to work, well, I don't know if we are going to work in breakout rooms or we are going to do it separately. And we are going to deal with the first 3 sentences that I want you to read yourself and tell me. What do you think? I mean, this is a typical Dictogloss exercise. You know, the type of exercise in which the students listen and take down notes? Well, students were listening and taking down notes. And they come up with these 3 sentences. What do they really were supposed to write? So take a look at the handouts. Do you have the handouts with you? Yes? All right. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes to take a look at these 3 sentences and think about it. What do you think students wanted? I mean, we know what they wrote, but what were they supposed to write in that Dictogloss exercise? All right? Are we going to work and breakout rooms, Eugenia, or we are going to work on our own? It's the same.
No, we can't do that. Stella, I don't know what happens with the Zoom.
Okay, so no worries about it.
Yes.
So this is what we are going to do. Let's work on number 1. So read number 1 and tell me, what do you think? I mean, think about number 1, number 2, and number 3. What do you think the student was supposed to write? But the student wrote a different thing, a different version of what he was supposed to write. Then we are going to see why. What was the influence of the lack of pronunciation on writing? Okay, is it clear? Thumbs up if it is clear. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I give you 2 or 3 minutes. Come on. All right. Very good. I mean, you got number 1 and number 2. I never heard you lie before. And then she's wearing a robe. Can you explain? Can you explain why the student have written, I never heard you lie before, and not I never heard you lie before? Somebody can explain? Come on, don't be shy. This is supposed to be a workshop.
You can unmute your mic and you can participate if you want. Come on.
All right, let's see.
Because
Somebody can.
lessons?
Yes, very nice. Who's talking?
Me, Julie Palamega.
Okay, Julie, yes, very nice. You know that the final da in heard before the yacht becomes d in English. So student probably doesn't know this combination. So we need to do a lot of these things. We need to make them notice that when sounds are in contrast, when sounds are together, they change, they merge in connected speech. And also you can also make a focus on the d and the t, right? For the native speaker of English to say heard or heard makes a difference. And you know that the difference is just by touching with the tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, you pronounce d, d, d. But if we pronounce it with the blade of the tongue, the sound that comes up is d, d. So there must be a differentiation between the heard and heard, because there is a differentiation. So we need to do a lot of things. And if we are not doing all this, we have this result, a negative impact on writing. And the second one, she's not wearing a robe, she's wearing a robe. Good. Who can explain that one? Ona, can you do it? Don't be shy, come on. Yes, come on, go ahead.
The problem here is that both sounds are bilabial. And maybe because they are at the final part of the word, the release is not complete, maybe.
All right. Yes, that could be one of the reasons. Thank you, Anna. Any other possibility?
The person who uttered the sentence did not differentiate well enough the voiced and voiceless feature of these two phonemes.
Exactly, Julia. You know that when a vowel is closed by a voiced or voiceless consonant, it changes its length. So there's clipping. Brief is clipping. Yeah, so robe, the vowel in robe is shorter than the vowel in robe. Yes, vowel shortening. Good, Andrea. Hello, Andrea. I know many of you here in the room. Okay, now, what about number 3? Number 3 is very difficult, isn't it? Any idea? You should see this. Okay. Can you see my screen right now? Yes? Let's listen up.
Ship, ok. ¿Cómo se dice enviar?
Ship,
Ship, ok. ¿Y cómo se dice barco?
ship,
Ship, ok. ¿Y cómo se dice barato?
cheap,
Ship, ah chinga. ¿Y cómo se dice sábanas?
sheets,
Sheet. ¿Y cómo se dice hojas de papel?
sheets,
Sheet. Ah chinga. A ver entonces, ¿cómo se dice? La oveja envía sábanas y hojas de papel baratas por barco.
the sheep ship cheap sheets and sheets by ship.
Chip, chinga tu madre, coche, así cuando voy a aprender. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés? Oveja.
All right, well, so this is what happens when we are not actually working on pronunciation, and probably the influence of writing comes as a surprise to us, because we say, well, pronunciation has nothing to do with writing. Yes, it has a lot to do with writing, because we write the way we speak, don't we? Now, I never heard you lie before, and wearing a robe. Okay, now I'm going to test you on something else. I want you to read silently, and I want you to test your reading abilities. I want you to read this to yourself and write on the chat box whether you understand what is being said or not. Okay, the answers on the chat box, please. As soon as you finish, you write yes, no. Okay, Julia got it. Everybody did. Good, nice. All right. Yes. Okay, you could get, I mean, could you notice there were strange words? Yes. Did they cause any difficulties, I mean, to understand the whole passage? All right, very good, Juan Ignacio. They are written backwards in mirror fashion. So I wanted to include a kind of difficulty, and here is the correct passage. Now, when we are reading, in fact, when we are reading in silent, what we are actually doing is we are saying all these words to ourselves. But when you are reading something that you don't know how to pronounce, something is preventing us from comprehending the text. It doesn't happen to you because you are experts when you are reading, but this happens to poor readers. Some words are strange to them. They don't know how to read it. So when they read, they usually build a structure, an image in our head. The problem is that we cannot decode all the words if we do not know how to pronounce the words, because that's the structures cannot be built. So comprehension cannot be built. Robin Walker at IETF Pronsic pre-conference event 2022 make reference to Catherine Walker's research. She says that she was looking at people and what people were actually doing when reading a text, and she realized that her students were not managing to get that mental structure that we need to get comprehension of a text. Something was preventing them from doing that. And she wanted to find out what it was. And she did it. She mentioned that what we do when we read is actually saying the words off the page in our heads. And the letters of the words we read become what we can hear silently in our heads. Actually, if you watch young learners reading, they move their lips, because they actually are reading and they have not internalized a switch off of the sounds of the words they read. So in the reading that we read, there were some words that were supposed to be strange. Perhaps it was too easy. You are experts of the language, so you do it quite well. But poor readers cannot do that, right? Too many words, when we don't understand what we are reading, are lost in the phrase. And while you say the words to yourself in your heads, the words go round and round and round and round in the working memory, in the short-term memory for 20, 30 seconds. It's like a loop, a phonological loop, right? And they try to get into the long-term memory because they want to be part. They want to extract meaning, but they can't because they are not part of that linguistic framework. And as a consequence of this, we fail to reach comprehension because the short-term memory words cannot get into the long-term memory to pull back for meaning. And they go back to the beginning of the text and we start again. So this is the problem of the lack of pronunciation teaching when we are reading. Strange as it may seem, readers of any language, when they are actually with a text, and readers of alphabetic codes usually store all material that they read, not visually, but phonologically in the working memory. This is what Catherine Walker realized, that we actually connect reading to images, we connect readings to phonology, and we never realize if this important item. So in the short-term memory, we have this central executive, yes. This central executive sends the words around a phonological loop in order to select them and send them to the English linguistic framework or lexicon or the words that we know and prepare them for storage in the long-term memory or to extract meaning. If you don't know the correct pronunciation, the sound traces in the head in that loop and is not processed. So they go around and round and round and they go back to the beginning of the text. So nothing is left. The overall outcome of these events is that after a short while you are reading, you have no recollection of what you are reading. And the root of reading is not in reading, but in pronunciation. Anyway, extracting the main ideas of a text is actually going from top, getting a gist of the text, has to do with higher level reading skills, a top-down approach. But if we want to deal with pronunciation, we had to go into a different approach. It's bottom-up, or you need to go into lower level reading skills. And this is the key for comprehension. We need to know that there is one thing that has to do with the whole passage, the whole comprehension of a text. And another thing that we need to focus on when we are reading or when we are working with writing, that has to do with decoding. And what type of work can we do? Phonics. Welcome, phonics. All of us know that this is very easy, that this makes our life easier as teachers and as students as well. And that's a very new approach, but it's not based on phonology. It's not based on the IPA alphabet. It's based on the alphabetic code. Because actually, when we are working with transcription, we are working with orality, but this has to do with reading. So this is something in between. If you look at the word in the dictionary, phonics, short O, phonics, is a method of teaching to read and write based on the connection of the reading, the letters, and the sounds. And so we are going to do a lot of this. We welcome phonics because we think that dictionaries know that there must be some pronunciation when we are working with words. That's the reason why they include pronunciation as well. But students don't know this. I mean, they find transcription really difficult. Now, phonics involves the relationship between the sound and the letter, but in an alphabetic code. All the alphabetic system is based on sounds. How can we be so blind and teach the letter names A, B, C, D, spell this? We are working on different networks in that way. All related to the IPA alphabet, which introduces one more obstacle. In time, students are going to get to know the IPA alphabet, but first, there must be a scaffolding. That scaffolding is phonics at lower levels. In phonics, A turns into A. B turns into B, B, B. C turns into K. Two letters can be one sound. This is called a digraph. Two letters, one sounds, as CH in champagne is pronounced sh. So CH could be sh, or as in Christmas, or ch as in children. You see how difficult it is? And we are making it more difficult by including IPA alphabet symbols in our lessons. I mean, we are going to do it at higher levels, but at lower levels, we need to do something in between. We need to include a scaffolding, a scaffold that mediates between spelling, writing, and all the skills. It is the ability to identify, to hear sounds in words and relate those words to the graphemes. You want to write pen? Pen, pen, pen. So let's break it down. Pen. P, n. Its ability to hear sounds in words. N, 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 pen. You want to write cat? Cat. So we start from the word as a whole, but not from memory. Not as we do in Look and Say, in that approach. You see the word and you try to memorize how to write that word. You want to write cat, you want to write dog, you want to write hand. Hand, let's try hand. A, N, D. A, N, D, D. We always start blending the last two phonemes. And, a, and, hand. And then we segregate it away for reading. And that's for reading, segregation. Now for writing, we start from the word hand, hand, and. And what about phonetics? This is something that we do at Teachers Running College, don't we? Well, phonetics has to do with the study of spoken words, and the sounds are transcribed using the IPA alphabet. So it has one focus, spoken forms, and the symbols represent spoken forms, but phonics focuses on reading, writing, speaking, listening, all the skills. So the focus is different. We cannot intersperse everything. Phonics focuses on reading, so we have to bear in mind that the objective is grasping the relationship between the sound and the spelling. Why? Because we want our students to read, write, listen, and speak better in English and make things really easy. Now let's take a look at the course book. Where is pronunciation in course books? Where is it? I'm sure you recognize the fonts. Well, sometimes it's part of a listening. Sometimes it's part of vocabulary practice, is this one. Sometimes it's an isolated slot, is separated, or just for speaking practice. I mean, there's only one book that I know that integrates pronunciation to reading and writing, and that's Navigate by OUP. All the others separate pronunciation from all the other skills. So in this exercise, students have to match the transcription of the sound with the name of the letters of the alphabet and underline the words and too many things. The sounds are related to the spoken language and transcribed with the IPA symbols. And where is the relationship between the spelling and the sound students need to see? It is there somewhere, but it's very difficult. The phonetic symbols that we said will be learned, but in time. Now students are stage lower. We need to avoid all these things, and I'm going to show you how to go into phonics for teenagers and adults. Will this exercise help to decode sounds and words and activate that phonological loop that we need? Probably not, because it's not simple. We've got 7 different spellings for 7 different phonemes, and then we've got 7 different IPA symbols. There's a semantic network, a phonology network, and then we got the writing network. I mean, it is too much. Students usually feel overwhelmed when we show them this type of exercises. Now, what I'm suggesting you is to go kiss, but not the kissing that we do in Argentina, you know, we kiss hello, we kiss goodbye. No, what I mean is keep it super simple. Yes, Maria Cecilia knows this because she attended one of our courses with Mar Hancock in the summer. Yes, I always try to keep it super simple for students, right? So we have this, yes, we have this. And again, we find another obstacle students have to match. They have to listen, and then they need to categorize the words into the fleas on the kid. Vowel number 1 and vowel number 2. Now, again, transcription of sounds, the level of the students is beginners, and there are too many things to learn. Listen to the sounds and repeat. Big, clean, green, listen, need, and then listen again and categorize the sounds according to, well, the category they belong. But then the obstacle is the E and the I, the symbols, the IPA symbols. Well, then there's a word, a lexical set. But then the lexical set is giving you just one clue. This, well, is regular. I mean, all the kid vowel sounds are usually spelled I. But then the flea's vowel sound includes only one spelling, E. And what about the others? So it's not complete. The picture is not complete. So I'm suggesting doing a different thing. I'm suggesting going phonics. And I know phonics, it takes like a month course. So I'm going to make it simple for you. All right. So let's go kiss phonics. This is a new term I came up for this presentation. Right. We are going to listen to a word. For example, the word could be clean or bean. If students are actually working with the writing or with the reading, somebody must read it aloud. Or they have to listen, right? But if it is reading, you can read it yourself. So listen to these words. For example, bean. And you say to yourself, now, relate the vowel sound to a mental image that makes the long sound memorable. For example, chewing gum. Why do I say chewing gum? Because you can make the vowel sound as long as you want, and you can make it as short as you want. Remember that we mentioned pre-fortis clipping, and we said that by applying pre-fortis clipping, a long vowel can be long or could be shorter. Rope. O in rope is shorter than robe in robe, because the closing consonants is voiced. So you listen to the word that then you say to yourself, and you help the students create a mental image. So you can say, very simple, is it as long as a chewing gum, or is it as short and sweet as the sweet? So it could be a metaphor. Work with metaphors, because phonics has to do with appealing to all the senses. It's a multi-sensory approach. With children, we do that. Why not with teenagers or adults? And they help them to memorize how to produce the sound. The sound is long or short, or it could be associated to a chewing gum or whatever mental images students know, or they can make suggestions. So instead of working with lexical sets, the fleas and the kid, that is not helping them to produce a sound, you can resource to images. These are mnemonic devices. And then, well, we've got clean. So let's go through all the words and see if you can find all the vowel sounds that belong to the chewing gum section. And so, well, you can help them. Sorry. You can help them see this. So you say big, big, big. Oh, that's short and sweet. Clean, clean. Oh, I know. That's in the chewing gum set because it's long. Listen, listen. Oh, that's short and sweet. Read. Oh, that is like a gun. You can make it long. So it's here. Knees. Knees. You can make it as long as you want. Sister. Oh, that's short and sweet. Green. Oh, Well, that's like a chewing gum. You can make it long. Think. The short and sweet. So in that way, they are acquiring the sounds, speaking part. And at the same time, you are highlighting the spelling. And the spelling is connected to the sound in different categories and in a different way, using colors, using metaphors, using images. So stage number 1 is raising phonological awareness of certain vowel features or whatever you are teaching. I'm working with the fleas and the kid just because in this exercise, and the exercise I extracted from the course book, there was a presentation of these 2 vowel sounds, so I didn't want to change it. But you can, then I'm going to give you another example with some other vowel sounds. Now, what happens next? You have already shown the word, they've listened to the words and they produce the words, and also make a distinction between the spelling and the sound. Now we go into the word. You want to pronounce clean, clean. Let's go into clean. You want to, you forget about this and you make them read and write. Clean, k, k, 2 sounds make 1 sound in e. So it's k, e, in, k, in, lean, clean. So you want to write this sound, you want to write clean, so you segregate it again. K, clean. E, in. So 4 phonemes, and the word is segregated for writing, but they know that this one is in. So they have to think whether it is double E, or it is EA, or it is IE, or any of the phonemes they related to this sound. They might make a mistake in the combinations of 2 letters, but they know that there are 2 letters for 1 sound. That's a digraph. Sometimes there are 3 letters for 1 sound, as in night. And there are many others, combinations like this, a trigraph. But anyway, this is case phonics. You listen to the word, you distinguish between the sound and the spelling, that is raising phonological awareness, casting the sounds to letters as I wrote in that activity. And once you have that, that is phonics, that's the basis of phonics, you go into lots of practice on segregation and blending. When you are segregating, you write. When you are blending, you read. Okay, what about beginning? What happens to beginning? That's a very long word. How many phonemes are there in beginning? Listen, B. Do it with me, B. E. Oh. E. E. Now this is tricky, isn't it? We've got double N. Why double N? Why 2 N's? Double consonant sounds are like a blockage to the vowel sound. So when there are 2 consonant sounds, we know that that word is going to take a shorter vowel. And that's a rule. English is full of irregularities, but there are lots of regularities too. And so while you are doing all this, you teach also the rules for writing. And then we got They need to know that NG is 1 phoneme, right? And here I'm going to introduce you a chart. This is what any teacher can do. Any teacher can give a color and they can, in a way, match two letters into one color, so students have it for reference. So you make them notice the common pattern for the spelling. You see NG is here, and they know that this is And then they've got CH here, and they know that CH may have 3 different spellings, right? So you can get reliable resources like this. You can construct this with your students. I'm going to show you a chart reference. Let's see if it's open. There it is. This chart, here you've got all the spellings and all the possibilities of spelling connected to that sound. And this one was included by Adam Scott in the IELTS conference 2022, because, well, everybody talks about phonics nowadays. And so, well, the first word is the most common spelling for that sound. And then the second is less commonly used than the first one. If you want this chart, which is a PDF, you send me an email to stella.palavecino@bue.edu.r, and I will send it to you. All right. So this is another visual marker that you can make. I mean, you can have this as a reference. You can construct your own visual markers for your classes. I mean, I did the chewing gum and the sweet, the short and sweet. And you can do it with images. You can do it using colors. You can do it as Adam Scott did it. Just combining the spelling to the sounds. You can use I mean, you can resort to anything, right? To anything you want and construct it with your students. Now, what happens here? More visual markers. Sometimes you can do what I did, or sometimes you can give the students the words and you tell the students to find the long sounds, the chewing gum sounds. And so they highlight it like this. These are another visual markers that were introduced by Adam Scott at IELTS 2022. Again, to help a student sound out words like this, he also mentioned dots, k, in, e, n. So one phoneme represents one dot. One dash represents two letters, one sound. Here we've got knees. So 2 letters, 1 sound. You know that the suffix CE is pronounced S. People, P, P, E, P, O. Final schwa is not pronounced. Final E is not pronounced. It's deleted. So the arrow is showing us that deletion of the sound. And you can do lots of these things. And this is phonics. Raising phonological awareness and at the same time showing the relationship between the sound and the spelling. So we are facilitating reading, writing, speaking, and listening, because then they will recognize all this. Now, I want you to work on your own. I want you to sound out words, count all these words, and make a kind of code for yourself. These words are in your handout. So I want you to go back to your handout, second page, and I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes for you to sound out these words, and then you're going to do it in front of the class. I mean, don't be shy, okay? Don't be shy. Do the same thing I did. I mean, 2 or 3 minutes for this. All right, do you have the handout with you?
I have just shared the handout again. Yes, just in case.
Lovely. It's task number 5. So you have to read these words, sound them out. All right, 2 or 3 minutes. Tell me when you're done.
Stella, somebody
Yes.
saying that there's no task number 5.
Oh,
Perhaps
really?
it's task 4.
It says, oh, maybe number 4, yes. I mean, there's no task number 4, so we are sharing the wrong. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen with you again. So the words are, number 1, lean. Knees. Green. People. Think and listen. There you are. Ready? When you sound out words, you need to put your hands like this, okay? You need to show your fingers. Ready? Yes? Okay. Who would like to do number 1? Lean.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Julia.
Lean, lean. L, in, in, lean, lean.
Very good. Lovely, Julia. Just one small thing. If there are 3 phonemes, show the 3 phonemes for the children or for your students. It's easier. Okay? Thank you. What about number 2? Knees. Knees. Who can do knees? Maria Cecilia? You're muted now.
Sorry. So, knees. Knees. S. And then.
Lovely. Yes, 3 phonemes. Very good.
Yes.
Now you need to
Yes.
go slower.
Okay. So. No, sorry. E. E. S.
Yes, yes. Now go on. Yes. Is.
Is.
Now this one goes closer.
Okay. Yes. So knees.
Very good. We need to do a lot of this. Very good, Cecilia. Thank you. We need to do a lot of practice. We teachers need to practice first. Right. Who can do green? Green. Come on, be brave. Anna? You're muted.
Yes, just practicing before.
Very good, nice.
So, green. So I have ga.
Okay,
R.
it's not phonology. Yeah, so we don't say ga. That's phonology, which is correct. You are automatized to phonology. Bravo for your phonology teacher. It's it's a sound.
Okay,
yes.
more in the
That's
back.
the reason why we need to practice. I mean, when we were planning with Eugenia this this workshop, we said, okay, we had to make all the participants work if they want to learn. And you want to learn, you're here because you want to learn. So try it, okay?
Okay, so ga. No, again, gu.
It's difficult. I know it's very
yes.
difficult. We are used to phonology. We are not used to phonics.
Okay, so gu, ro, I guess.
Yes.
Sorry. And n.
Very good. 4 phonemes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now we are going to, I mean, this is the blending. We are going to, this is segregation. We're going to do the blending now. Okay. Go closer.
So these two be in, ring, and green.
Yes. You have to do it slower, but good. Good.
Okay.
Lovely. Yes. You have to slow down a little bit. All right. Phonics is, it's very relaxed. It's like the mindfulness approach to teaching. All right. What about people? Cecilia, you want to try? Cecilia, you want to try? Okay. Somebody else? Maria Cristina, you want to try?
Okay,
Good.
Miss.
Lovely.
Tell me the word, please.
It's think.
Okay. Sorry. E. In this way?
There are 4 phonemes, yes, I agree. But
yes.
number 1 is, where are you? Yes, number 1 is, remember, is think. The word you need to segregate is think. Yes, now segregate
okay.
is the way we do. This is.
Okay. E.
Very good. Now, these two here.
Ink. 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 Think.
Yes, lovely.
Think.
Very good. Lovely. Well, you see, you have to do a lot of this,
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much for participating. The important thing is that every time you, I mean, if you start by pronouncing or blending the last 2 phonemes, make sure that you also pronounce the first one. It's think, because that is what we do when we are helping students raise phonological awareness. Okay, now let's go on with this this part of the presentation. All right, there you are. Can you see my screen right now? Okay, This is a typical reading practice that you can find in any course book, and you are teaching all this. If you take a look at the text in this reading task, you're going to find a lot of interesting things. But we need to focus on one particular set. We cannot do all the phonemes at the same time. We need to work on some phonemes sometimes, on some pronunciation features on another time. This text is full or rich in A sounds. So we are going to deal, because we say, well, this is ideal for the A sound. So what's the rule? A is pronounced short and sweet, as when you are going to take a bite of an apple, when the spelling is A. The second rule that we need to bear in mind is that when A is a two-syllable word and the last phoneme is an E, as in mate, the final E is dropped. Something that we called the magic E. Now it's called split diagraph, because the last E is lost and that A say its name in the alphabet, so it's mate. And finally, we've got the A sound plus Ra. So we know that the Ra sound makes the vowel sound longer. So you can come up with something like this. These words, you can tell the students, are part of this reading. You're going to read these words, this reading aloud. And while you're reading, you want your students to classify them into short and sweet sounds, alphabetic vowels, as in place, or R vowels, as in aunt, hard, Harris, flat. So they listen to you, and this is another exercise. It's just listen. It's the first stage. This is another example of the first stage in which the students listen, recognize long or short vowel sounds or whatever categories you want to work on, and they categorize the sounds according to certain features, and they will remember it, the R vowels, alphabetic vowels, and short and sweet. Mark Hancock also did a chart like this one. Let's see. Okay. He talked about short vowel sounds. And again, he works with lexical sets. A as in hand. E as in leg. The second less frequent spelling is head. E as in chin. Y as in gym. English, orange. Remember, the first word is more common than the second one or the third one. O, spelling is O as in sock. The second most common spelling is swam. Then OU as in cough, or because. U as in duck. According to the accent, it could be duck or it could be dock. But if you are teaching Southern British English, it's usually O. Less common spelling is sun, or OU as in young. Double O as in blood, does. And he also talks about alphabetic vowels. They are the vowels that are pronounced as its name in the alphabet. So A is A, E is E, I is I. But remember that these words, the alphabetic words, usually end in E, the magic E that is not pronounced, as face, bike, nose. And then he also created another category, which is R vowels. So you know that before, if a vowel is followed by an R sound, that vowel sound is lengthened, as in heart, care, ear, right? So this has to do with reading and pronunciation, right? And how reading, writing, listening, and speaking can be, in a way, addressed differently, without resorting to the IPA alphabet, without resorting to difficult things. And what happened with children? Well, children learn phonics in a more systematic way. I mean, they learn 2 sounds a week. With adults, teenagers, well, we integrate all this. Where? In reading, in writing, in listening. I mean, instead of teaching vocabulary, you teach vocabulary plus spelling, because we need it, all right? They need to pronounce it first. And that's the way they will integrate all the sounds to the 4 skills. Now, with children, we'd make it simple. We're going to make it simple as well. And in order to go into phonics, which is a more inclusive approach to reading and writing, I want you to ask you 2 questions. You know, when there is a class in front of you and you're going to teach something, you know that there's a group that is going to learn very quickly and they're going to remember everything you say. And there's another group that's going to struggle a great deal. And that happens with reading and writing and in all areas, but basically with reading and writing is more noticeable. Reading is tough in English. How many letters are there in the English alphabet, you know?
24?
Yeah, there are 26. Yes, Juan Ignacio, good. Yes. And how many sounds?
44, more or less.
12.
Yes, you see?
24.
44 and like
44.
500 different combinations.
Yes.
Can you see a problem there? It's crazy. Okay. English is opaque. And what about Spanish? How many sounds are there in Spanish? Spanish alphabet. There are more or less the same number of Spanish sounds and letters, so it's more transparent. It doesn't go so much difficulty, right? So when we go into phonics with children, we need to address our classes to all of them. Look and say it's very difficult because it is based on memory. And again, some children, when you say, well, look, this is a new word, and the word is man. And then you say mom. And some children say, oh, that's mom. Mom, the same is the same as in mon. And then they listen to another word. They listen to the word fish. And then they encounter the word she. And they say, oh, that's the same as in she. Fish, she. And so they started to make this combination. And clickety-click, clickety-clack, they crack the alphabetic code. And you don't know why, you don't know how, but you just know it. These are the type of children that encounter a lot of notices around their homes, and their parents read them books at night. And they recognize the logos. Oh, mom, there is koto. And then they can identify the in koto as in Coke. But then there's another group that just can't. They just can't break the code. What is it that this top group has that the bottom group hasn't? 2 things. Can you guess what it is? I mentioned it while I was doing some explanation. Any idea what it can be? One of the things is memory. The difference between some children is memory. They just can remember things, okay? So you teach them a song and they remember the song. And then the bottom group goes, and the others go head and shoulders, necks, and they go necks and toes, and the bottom group cannot follow them. They just, I mean, I'm not saying they're not intelligent. I'm saying that they need to work. We need to do something about making things easier for them, helping them remember things. And we just do with adults and teenagers. I mean, try to find something that they know, a mnemonic device, an image that they know, something they remember. So that counts and make things easier, make connections in their brains. And what's the second one?
So does it have to do with music, maybe?
Yes, exactly. It has to do with a good ear to hear sounds in
right,
words.
Okay.
Lovely. Oh my God. Yes, it's a good ear to hear sounds in words. So these are the two things that we need to foster or to reinforce in the classroom to help children read and write. Memory, so they can remember how the graphemes are drawn, or the relationship between certain sounds and certain characters, and to hear sounds in words. And phonics is ideal for that. So we need to foster all this. Imagine that you teach this word, three. What is it that Spanish speakers say? Do they say three?
They say free with
Very
f.
good. Yes. They usually say free or tree because we don't have this phoneme in English, in Spanish, sorry. And it is very difficult to grasp because they are learning a new word, which is lexicon, semantic level. They need to remember that number 3 is said 3, a new word. And they need to remember a new sound. And that's a new articulatory habits to say, you tell children, say 3, and they say free. No, 3, put your tongue out. I did it, miss. It is free. No, it's 3. Yes, it's free. And they can't hear the sounds in words. So we need to do something about it. We need to make the sound noticeable somewhere for children, right? What can we do about it? The mother tongue is interfering and it's a negative transfer. So if you cannot beat the enemy, join the enemy. And this is what we are going to do. There's something children know. They know that they can put their tongues out. Is it correct? Do good children put their tongues out? No, we don't encourage students to put their tongues out, but it is something that they know. It's a starting point, right? So by doing this, it's a beginning. Then there's something else that we need. We need to blow air out. So by placing or by starting by something they know, putting their tongue out, and by telling them to blow air out, they will trigger the zone of proximal development and the new articulatory sound will be acquired. So that would be not just it's not enough. But of course, we cannot use language or meta language to speak English to children. I mean, we cannot speak about language. You cannot tell all this to children because they're not going to remember. Do you think they're going to remember? No, of course not. They're not. But you can introduce children to a magic world, the world they really like to be, the world of characters and fantasy. So let me introduce to Samki. Hello, audience. Oh, I am Samki, but I'm not very happy. You know why? Because children don't look at me. They don't want to play with me. I like to put my tongue out, and they don't like it at all. But my name is Samki. I need to put my tongue out. And I'm very sad. I don't have any friends. You know what happens? They're so upset with me that they even invented a song to frighten me away. Oh my God, what a shame. And this is a song that children invented to keep Samki away.
Samki, Samki, where are you? Where are you? Here I am, putting my tongue out. That is very naughty, that is very naughty. Go away, go away.
All right, the song is going to keep children producing the sound. They won't probably say, but they know that it's something like funky, funky, funky at this stage because it's naughty to put their tongues out. So I'm suggesting an EFL approach to teaching sounds to children because phonics has a lot of things, lovely things, but everything is made for the native speaker of English. So we study Annie Apple. That's not a sound that our students need to grasp. They need to grasp, the African, the ja and the cha and the ba and the va and the tha and the za, especially the va and ba and some vowel sounds. So an EFL phonics world is going to work with an introduction to memorable stories that will help the students acquire the new sounds. Unlike literature, in which all the narrative conflict is really solved by a morale, in EFL phonics stories, the solution that is introduced in the narrative is solved by acquiring a new sound, by acquiring the sound that they need. So I'm going to introduce you to the story, and you're going to tell me whether the students can remember how to articulate a sound or not. Listen.
Funky. Funky is a big, big thumb. He's got a big, big problem. Children get very angry at him because he puts his tongue out, calling out to his friends. He's got thick and thin friends, so he goes thick, thin. Children cannot hear th in words, so they think he's naughty. That makes Thumpy unhappy. But one day, children had an idea. Let's go thumpy. And people got very angry.
Samki, Samki, where are you? Where are you? Here I am, putting my tongue out. That is very naughty. That is very naughty. Go away. Go away.
And the teacher saw the problem. Children, children, put your tongue out and blow, like this. Now children can hear th in words and go thumpy.
Samki, Samki, goes, pushing out some air, putting your tongue out. pushing out some air, pushing your tongue out. Once a new sound is noticeable through the character, children need to try it. And they try it in songs because songs are fun. So they do this kind of repetition, not blind, but it's meaningful to them because they have fun. So it's ludic. Repetition is necessary. They know they need to do, but it shouldn't be blind. So they are singing to a character, and that character is memorable. And on the other side, stories create an emotional bond with children. A sound like should be acquired in a memorable way, and stories whose solution to the conflict is just the acquisition of the new sound are ideal for this. Stories provide the scaffolding to remember the new articulation of this and the song opportunities for practice. So children will remember that Samki put his sound out, and that is naughty. But if you push some air out, that is not naughty, because what you are doing actually is calling out to his name and his friends. Now, all of us teachers need to create a magical learning environment with a perfect scaffold to introduce the sounds students need. If we take material from England, we are going to get lovely material, but it's not the sounds that our students need to speak more intelligible. They don't need to speak, or they do not need to get native like pronunciation, but they need to be understandable, intelligible. And this is creating positive experience as well. The brain, when you are doing something nice, releases a chemical called dopamine, which is the chemical that raises motivation and make positive emotions memorable. So this is my collection of short stories, and my approach is that, unlike literature, EFL phonics stories introduce a conflict that is not solved with a morale, but acquiring a new articulatory habits that will be memorable, because it creates an emotional bond with the story. So you remember all that. Don't you remember a story that you like, that you feel reflected? Students do. Well, what happens after this? What happens after introducing the new sounds, getting new articulatory habits? We need to develop phonological awareness. But we are not going to do the dashes or the dots as we did with teenagers or adolescents. They need to do something more kinesthetic, some movements and games. So I'm going to show you a kill the mosquito game. In this game, children actually recognize or relate the sound to the letter, the sound to the spelling for the first time. Take a look.
A thin pencil. Yeah. See,
Very good. Let's try. Let's try, and Valen, you can stand there, and you can stand there. There we go.
Listo. A thick monitor.
So you see how we can activate memory and also develop phonological awareness in the same way. In the second game, I mean, it's just another stage when students have already related the sound to the spelling, and children are actually changing the beginnings or the ending, just recognizing phonemes for the first time.
Okay, next. The first is B. Okay.
All right. In this way, children learn the words, the memorization of new vocabulary first, and then we train them to sound out words in the same way we did with teenagers and adults. Once they are trained doing this, well, they can do this type of activities as well. This one, for example. Now, what's this? Let's play a game. What's this? P, E, N. P, E, N. What's this? P, E, N. What is it? P. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Pen.
Pin. Yes, pin. Now, what's this? Ah.
Map.
Map. Now you try, Maria Paula.
Map.
Yes, try another word.
Okay. What's the third one? T, U, U. T, U, U.
What's this?
U.
That's tool.
Yes, good, Julia. Now you go on. Pick another one.
Okay, what's this? P, E, N, K. P, E, N, K. N, K. Yes, it's pink.
That's it. Well, in that way, well, first children segregate, and then we teach similar games to, well, blend the words. And as they did kinesthetically, we can do the same with words. Now, let's change the letters in red and make new Samkis friends. For example, T, O, O. I want you to change the last phoneme by a new Samkis friend. Tool. The word is tool. Tool. What do we get? Tool. Tooth. Yes, very good. T, O, O, T, O, ooth. So we are changing a phoneme. So we are developing phonological awareness and helping children sound out words. Now, I want you to change the first letter in pink.
Pink.
Pink, very good. And I want you to change the last letter in map. Map. What do we get?
Math.
Math. Very good, math. Well, and children end up doing things like this.
Can you make the word like mine, please? Look at the first sound. Look at the next sound, the middle sound. And look at the last sound. Good, well done. Well done. Brilliant. Whoosh to you. Whoosh to you, Renato.
Okay, now what about segregating like this? That was blended.
What do we do when we need to read a word? Who can remember what it is we need to do? Charlie?
Sound them out.
We need to sound them out, that's right. Who knows what this sound is? And today's sound, do you remember? Good. Good. Well, right, let's sound ready. We got b, a, g, b, a, g, b.
So you see, and they are also using the dots and the dashes as we used before with teenagers and adults, remember? Now, this is raising phonological awareness. Take a look.
Arm. Very good. Who was first?
Tommy was first.
Tommy, so Billy, you take a seat. So now let's play. Now
Okay, in arm, they are jumping into the long vowel sounds. And this is living bingos, living tic-tac-toe, sorry. Yeah, so they jump into the sound that the teacher is actually saying, and they do tic-tac-toe. Now, phonemic awareness, isolation of sounds that you relate to a character, to a trick, to a movement, and then you do lots of blending on segmenting. Sounds like this. The same applies to addition, deletion, or substitution of sounds when there is a magic E. So you also teach a lot of rules. Phonics in a nutshell, just for the Spanish speakers, for the non-native speakers of English. Think of a sound that disrupts communication. It doesn't have to be a sound that is specially prepared for English speakers. Sounds for our students. Find a starting point where the sound is in our mother tongue. It could be a trick, it could be in a word. Create a story like Sasa Samki, a song that helps children repeat, do drilling, not blind reading, but drilling for a purpose, and do lots and lots of blending and segregating games. So as I was telling you, there is a word of EFL phonics for all of us. You need to go for it, so don't be shy. If you want to get into the EFL phonics world, yes, you can click into this link, and you're going to find information about all the storybooks I have just shown you. And if you want to be trained, more trained in these type of things, like phonics, Brad, I'm delivering a course during the summer with Mark Hancock during January. So if you want to come, also click over this link and it's going to be directed to where you actually want to, for registration things and the material, and you see the schedule and everything. Here are my references and all the things I consulted to get into here. And if you have any questions, email me or, well, follow me on the media. All right. If you want the slides, again, send me an email. I will send you the slides of this presentation. Okay. Now,
thank you, Stella. There are some questions for you. First, we go with the questions, and then we give you a very big round of applause.
All right.
Vale.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Valeria.
How are you? Wonderful, wonderful talk. Really interesting.
Thank you, Valeria.
And I wrote, wait, because I wrote it in the chat, Euge. Julia asked about, oh, I cannot move it. I have a question for Stella. The picture she showed us with the colored coded letters is similar to Cuisinart, something like that. I'm not sure.
Okay, that is another resource. I mean, there was a teacher who created some other material. He used like kind of bars, long bars or shorter bars and different colors. And he used that as another way of connecting the sound to spelling. Yes, and it was simpler than the IPA alphabet. But then it was not associated to phonics. I don't know why, but there was kind of beginning. Yes, it's similar, very much similar.
Thank you, Stella.
Okay, that's it. Any other question there for Stella? It was really clear and interesting.
Thank you very much. Remember that the first 10 persons that sent me an email telling me why they deserve to get Sasa Samki, I've got a book here for you. It will send to you. And also the newest book, which is The Jawbreaker and the Sound Ticklers. Yes, to teach all this material. Okay, this one's got activities. This one has the activities and the songs inside. And all the books have songs and material for teaching in the classroom. So remember to email me saying why you deserve to get that book.
Oh,
10
great.
books are going to be raffled.
Okay, thank you, Stella. Well, I think that perhaps we can open our mics, we can open our cameras, and we can give Stella, and Lucy is here. Lucy is going to take some photos. We can give Stella a big round of applause because this session has been enriching, fruitful, lovely. Yes, I really love it.
Thank you so much.
Stella.
Yes.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be with you.
We want a picture. Thank you, Stella. It has been a real pleasure to have you here. It has been an honor for me because you know that Stella is a great expert on the area. She's a phonology teacher in different profesorados in Cava. So she's a great teacher. So thank you, Stella. For me and for CIEDA, it has been a real honor, right? So thank you.
It's been an honor for me too, Eugenia. When you suggested doing this webinar, I said, well, it will be fantastic. Well, here we are.
Thank you. People, thank you for your participation. This has been the first online webinar that CIEDA has prepared for you. We are going to continue offering different webinars. Yes, so we are going to send you invitations for the following webinars and congresses that we are going to make. Now, before you leave, we are going to try to make a raffle. Yes, this is new for me, so I will try with all of you. So if I make a mistake, then you tell me, but we are going to try, yes, because I will be using a kind of online app. Yes, so I will be sharing my screen and then you tell me. Yes, let's see. Give me a minute. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Tell me if you can see my screen. No here. Just a minute. Okay. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well. As you can see, this is la propuesta formativa para el segundo semestre del profesorado de inglés y de toda la institución, de todo el polo educativo. You can see that we are here. These are some of the webinars and courses that we are going to offer, yes, in the English area, in the English field. And these are the 5 books that a study has given us. Yes, so we are going to raffle these 5 books. If you obtain the prize, I hope you're lucky. You are going to be lucky today. You need to be in contact with Andres' study, yes, with the bookshop, yes, and he is going to coordinate with you how you're going to obtain and receive the prize. Yes, so these are the 5 books that we have, right? We have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. The first one is Multiple Intelligences in EFL. The second one is Grammar Practice. Number 3 is Mind the Gap. Number 4 is English Through Drama. And the last one is Grammar Practice Beginner, right? So now I will stop sharing and I will share again with the app. Let's see if we can do it. Sorry, but I'm trying with you. Okay, can you see I am in App Sorteos? Yes? Okay, well, you know that this is the title of the presentation. Phonics can help EFL learners listen, speak, read, and write better. And here you have all the participants that have been enrolled, yes, for this webinar. So you know that there are less people today, but well, we are going to do with all the people that have been enrolled, yes. But if you are not here, yes, if the person is not here, the person is not going to receive the prize, yes. So you need to be here. What I will do is we are going to write. I think we can have 5 winners, and we can have like 10 suplentes. What do you think? Just in case. Okay, and okay, here we go. Let's see. Comenzar. Tan, 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 tan. Aha, Jessica Souza. Is Jessica here? Jessica? No, not here. Maria Daniela Farré? I cannot see the whole screen, so you tell me, yes? Mary, Vale, Paula, please help me. Heidi Reinsich? Maricel Caricato?
No, Mari no está, no se pudo conectar.
Oh, Julieta Videla. Is Julieta here? No. Well, we continue with the suplentes. Let's see. Julieta, ¿estás acá? Ah, Jorgelina, muy bien. El primer libro para Jorgelina.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, very good, Jorgelina. One winner. Great. Where are you from, Jorgelina?
Thank you so much.
Where are you
I'm from Castelli, Buenos Aires.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can organize and we can see how we can give you the present. Okay. Second winner, Analia Lopez Ale. Is Analia here? No? Karina Belén Muñoz? Karina? Nehal Kamal? ¿No?
No. Yo voy buscando en el chat, pero no.
Aurora Pintos? ¿No? María Antonieta Trevisti? ¿No? Marisol, we don't know the surname of Marisol.
No.
No, Marisol is not here.
No.
Sofía Costa? No? I think we have one student from CIEDA here. Lara, are you here with us?
Yes.
Lara? ¡Ay, qué lindo! Congrats, Lara! Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. And, okay, I don't know what happens. I cannot move them. Then we have Luna Cerejetti. No? Luna?
No.
¿No?
No.
Bueno, me parece que lo vamos a tener que hacer de vuelta. A ver, bueno, tenemos hasta ahora 2 prizes. Sorry, I mix in English with Spanish, really sorry. Okay, well, I will share with you the screen again, and we are going to do again, we need to do again the same situation.
Eugenio, ¿notaste los nombres de las ganadoras?
Yes, of course.
Great.
Okay, give me a minute because I need to copy all the names again. Just a minute.
Tenemos que poner una música de suspenso, estamos
Yes.
todos. Ahora hay que quedarse siempre hasta el final, ¿vieron? Que las sorpresas, el que se queda hasta el final. Vamos a ver qué pasa ahora, esperemos que estén.
Nos quedan 3 más, ahí vamos.
A ver qué pasa.
Ya les comparto, ¿eh? Es que la tecnología...
Mientras tanto, si los que están presentes quieren dejar alguna apreciación de lo que fue para ustedes este espacio, de cómo se sintieron, de qué imaginaban, qué se llevan, nos parece siempre muy valioso para armar nuestra retroalimentación, para devolverle también a la capacitadora. Así que mientras esperamos la rueda de la fortuna, ahí empieza, ahí empieza.
Ahí viene la rueda de la fortuna.
Ahí viene, a ver, vamos a ver.
Ay, no me deja hacerlo.
Tranqui, tranqui.
Mientras Euge busca, si quieren, y se animan en el chat, una apreciación general de qué se llevan, ¿sí? ¿Qué les pareció? ¿Qué aprendieron? Siempre estos espacios son sumamente valiosos y uno se va con ideas, con cosas para revisar, pero bueno, a veces imaginamos un nombre con una charla, después cuando ingresamos vemos que aparece otra cosa o hay coincidencia, pero siempre nos gusta cerrar. A ver, ahí vamos.
Ahí
No
estamos,
hablo más,
ahí estamos.
no hablo
Perdón. Bueno, ahí
20
estamos.
suplentes
Vamos,
esta
puse más ganadores y
Ay.
más suplentes. Ahí vamos. Nos quedan 3 premios. Comenzar. Ahí vamos. Perdón, para la próxima vamos a estar un poco más entrenados. Bueno. Mariela Andrea Gallo. Is Mariela here?
Ay,
Mariela.
qué pena.
Another student from CIEDA. Camila Fattori.
¿Está?
Cami.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Lara, Cami. Ana Capello. No, perdón. Laura Sea. Is Laura here? No. Ana Capello. Is Ana here?
Sí. Yes.
Oh, very good. Where are you from, Ana?
I'm from Argentina, Mendoza.
Oh. Wow. Well, let's see how we can organize to give you the prize. Then we have Anthony Martinez. No? Marta Ogonio. Jessica Malaniuk. Jessica. Valeria Imel Burgos.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Hello, Valeria.
Hello, oh my God.
Hi. Where are you from, Valeria?
From Corrientes, Argentina. Corrientes, the province, not the street.
Okay,
Corrientes.
Okay, well, now you need to contact, no, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. So you need to contact Andres Study, and in case you have any kind of problem, any kind of situation, you can contact me, yes? Then I will give you my email account, and we are going to see how we can organize to give you the prize, right? So thank you. Thank you, all of you, to be here with us, sharing this afternoon. I don't know if Stella is here or Stella has left. Stella? Oh, she has disconnected. Well, people, thank you. Thank you. Ivana, no sé si querés decir algunas palabras, pero ya estamos
ya
en
con
el
todo
final.
lo que dijimos, sí, agradecer nuevamente en nombre de CIEDA, bueno, a todo el departamento de inglés de CIEDA, a la organización Eugenia por gestionar a la capacitadora y organizar este espacio, a nuestros estudiantes. Nosotros insistimos que la formación permanente y la capacitación son parte del rol de profesionalizar el rol, así que gracias por estar, nuestros estudiantes siguen un ratito más igual, y a todos los que se sumaron, veo, de distintas partes del país, bueno, muchísimas gracias, creo que ha sido una jornada más que provechosa, bueno, y a seguir aprendiendo y estudiando, desde CIEDA ya los invitaremos para otros espacios. Muchas gracias.